Hey guys, so back in the studio this morning, and hopefully your clay has stiffened up a little bit on your cylinder. If it hasn't, then you need to let this set out maybe 45 minutes or so it's moved into that stiff clay stage. It should not be super wobbly. So like it's gonna move a little bit if you want to test it, but it shouldn't be like flopping over on you. So if you're still having that issue, then just take your cylinder out and let it dry for maybe 40 to 50 minutes. Don't blow dry it, just let the air get to it, do some other work while you're kind of waiting, and then come back to it and do the following steps that I'm going to go over with you right now. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I know everybody keeps saying, will you show us your studio, show us your studio? And I will, I promise. It's a really big mess. So I'll kind of, you guys can see it, look at this. So I brought stuff from school to combine with my own studio, and it's just like a disaster right now. So, and then there's another side over there, but it's hard to combine, you know, basically 3 different studios is what I've got going on. Usually this happens at the end of the year and the beginning of the year, so I organize it, you know, more effectively, but I just haven't had a minute to do that. So that's on my agenda to get done today, and then I'll take you guys on a little tour because right now it wouldn't be very fun for you to look at. And then the music we got playing today is, Angelina sent this in. It's Saint Romain, so I kind of like it. I'm not really sure what genre it is. Can you see? It doesn't tell me. But anyway, so I'm listening to it. So if you've got some music that you really love, send it to me and I'll check it out. So let's go ahead and get started. Knock this down so you guys can see it. Got my stencil finished, got my supplies next to me, and my cylinder's ready to go. But I want to go ahead and shape this all up because, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit, just because it's a little bit wobbly and I just want to make this a little bit more refined, and I will do that again later. But because I'm going to be putting my stencil on here in just a minute, I want to go ahead and make sure that this stuff is as smooth as possible. So, and as we know that smoothing is a little bit easier as your clay stiffens up. So I'm going to go ahead and take my rib tool and I'm just going to kind of go through this and make sure there's not like bumpiness happening. And if I've got any kind of divots in my wall, I could fix those. You could push them out or push them in. And then if you were unable to flip the foot over because your clay was too wet, then now is going to be a great time to do that. You guys do not want your clay to move out of this stage. So once it gets into this little bit stiffer stage, you know, it's right past that moist clay feel, then make sure that you put some moisture in your bag. You could even spray your clay directly. It's not going to hurt it. Because if you move into the leather hard stage for this, it's going to be bad. You're going to start breaking stuff, it's going to fall apart, and you're going to get really, really frustrated. So just make sure that you stay in that stiff clay range of moisture as we kind of continue down this path. So I'm going to smooth out my top edge. And you know what? I think I'm even going to try to trim this to get it a little bit more level before I put my pattern on here. Now, you guys won't, I don't know if you have a ruler, then you can trim this with your ruler. But if you don't have a ruler, what you can do is you can flip it over and you can kind of just tap it on your table. Sorry, the camera's moving. And that'll level that out. So what will happen is it'll flatten out, and so any extra clay will kind of come over the edge, and then you can kind of cut that off with your needle tool if need be. So I've got a spot right here where it's sticking out a little bit. I don't really like that, so tap that back in. And then I'm going to trim the top of mine with a ruler, and I just lay it flat, and then I just kind of go around the sides. And you guys have seen me do this before. And you know, a former student was the one that was like, Miss Ruth, this is so easy. Just do it like this with a ruler. And I was like, oh my gosh. So once that happened, I never really went back. I mean, you can trim it with a needle tool. There's ways to do that. And sometimes I do it, but this works really, really well. So it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. So again, your clay should still be soft enough that you can kind of move your clay wall if you need to, if it doesn't look round. And then I'm going to take my sponge and I'm just going to smooth this out. Just because, as you know, I like to smooth over and over and over again as I go through the process. Compressing that clay and just making sure it's where I want to be before I go to the next step. So a lot of times, you know, beginners don't take that time to really make sure that the form is where it should be before you go to the next step. I feel like we're always kind of rushing, but you know, we got nothing but time right now, so get your form looking good. And if it collapsed all the way on you, you'll probably have to spray your clay back down. But spray your clay back down, and then you could do a coil pot cylinder, because you probably don't, I mean, if you have a rolling pin, you could roll your clay out and get it flat. But to get it really even, you know, you'd have to put like 2 little dowels on each side, I guess, or something on each side so that the clay is really even. And then you would just, you would just roll over it to get it nice and smooth. But if that seems kind of daunting, then, you know, just take your clay back down, take it back to that moist level of clay, and you could do a coil pot and just build straight up on top of itself. And that would give you, get you back to where you need to be. So again, that's if your slabs fell apart on you and collapsed. Cut your clay back into small pieces, get it moist again, and then make coils and just stack them. You'll have to make a foot, you know, but we learned that when we made coil pots. So just make a big kind of cinnamon roll, smooth it out really well, and then build this part of your wall out of coils. So that's if you ran into major issues with your slab and it collapsed all the way on you. If you don't have a ruler, you can use anything with a straight edge for what I just did. It doesn't have to be a ruler. I need to put my apron on. I keep putting my hands on my sweater. I know you guys might not have a paddle, but I have one, so I'm going to use it. But you know, your palm will work just as well. Okay, so now our pot is ready to go and transfer our design. So I'm going to put an apron on and then I will do that. Okie dokie. So, next step is to take your stencil. I'm gonna lay this on its side. And I'm gonna take my stencil and figure out where I want it. So this paper is not the exact size. So this is probably, let's see how big this is. So that's 1.25 inches, and that's about 1/2 inch. So I tell you what I'm gonna do. Well, if you wanted to, you could trim this off if you have what I have, and you could just cut this so you know you're right in the middle, which I think, I want to do that. I'm just gonna fold mine over and kind of eyeball it. And then I'm gonna measure it. So 1 inch. That's good. So I just eyeballed it. I just folded the paper over. But you could cut this so it's exactly, and then you could just place it exactly where you want. But that works. So now I'm gonna pick this back up. And so I can get it where I need it to be. And I'm gonna tape this. Now, if you can get your pattern lined up, that would be amazing. But sometimes that gets a little bit tricky. So let's see. So mine would have to be, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna tape this and I'm gonna mark it. See, this is where we get into that math. I'm just gonna mark it with a different color pen so I know that I'm probably going to take this stencil back off and readjust it to kind of make up for this. I'll move this one over, which you guys will see me do that. So this video, I probably will attempt to time lapse it because this would be a really big video if I did, long video if I didn't. But I'm gonna go ahead and post this part, and then I'm gonna stop my video and then I will restart it while I'm tracing all this, but there's no reason for me to keep recording at this point. You guys can just kind of check back in on the next one, but it's literally just gonna be me tracing this whole thing. But I'm gonna post this on the classroom. That way you guys know what to do and you can get started. So now that I know where I want my stencil and it's on my cylinder, I am going to very carefully, I'm gonna start on the others. I'm gonna start right here. Not in this section because I'm gonna adjust this where they come together. I'm gonna start the next section over. Now you might have something completely different going on with your patterns. You might not have to do that, but I need to. And now I like to use a different color than what's on my background so I know where I've already transferred my design. But I'm not pressing really hard, but with your fingernail, you should be able to feel an indentation. So if you can feel that indentation, then you know that this is transferring onto your clay. If it doesn't feel like that, then it's probably not transferring. And so then you will have done all of this for no reason. So make sure, you know, that you can feel that embossment. It doesn't need to be really deep or anything, but make sure that you're pressing hard enough that it's actually transferring onto your clay. So I'm gonna continue doing this, and I'm gonna go ahead and post this part of the video. And so the next one will just literally be me tracing my design. And that will do it for today. And then tomorrow we will do the pierced section. So I hope that you guys are doing okay and you're getting through this. Feel free to contact me if you need anything or have any questions. Hope you guys had a good spring break too. Where I was, it was a little bit rainy on some days, and other days it got up to like 81. My husband's sunburned. It's my fault. I didn't put sunscreen in the boat. But I don't really burn, and he does, and he's got some crispy arms. But he's a tough guy, he'll make it. Today is beautiful outside. Nice and shiny, sun shining. I think winter might be behind us. There were a lot of animals out this weekend. And I even saw a snake in the water. So that tells me winter is probably gone. Unless Mother Nature's gonna play a really mean trick on us. Anyway, so, whoops, I dropped my camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna keep tracing my design, and then the next video will be of me showing you how to do the piercing. So stick with it. Again, if you had major issues, just tear your clay back up, put it in small pieces, and then you'll have to go back and do a coil pot structure, and then you'll go through the rest of the process the exact same way. Hopefully you don't have to do that, but if you do, that's gonna be your solution. So if you have any questions, guys, please email me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great day.